Finally, the defending series champion gets his first win of the year, Bruce. A lot of people said a couple of weeks ago when he lost out at St. Louis at Gateway by running out of fuel that nobody had Austin Cindric on their bingo card for being the first Penske driver to win this year. But finally, he gets the win. Ford is now running up front on a regular basis, getting wins. We spent a lot of time in the first part of this year, Jerry, wondering when, if the Fords were ever going to start running up front winning races. Well, now they've got like a nice little string going here. Have they finally caught up?
I think everybody's pretty much even right now, honestly. If you look at Chevrolet has got a little bit of a lead in the championship points for the manufacturer, but if you look across the board, it's pretty even. I can't find fault with any manufacturer for what they've done so far this year. Has Ford caught up? Absolutely, because they didn't start off strong, but they're definitely coming on right now.
Bruce?
The beauty of a NASCAR season is it's so long that there's ebbs and flows in it, where one manufacturer seems to have an advantage over the other, but eventually that gives the manufacturer who is at a disadvantage time to improve the product. And I think that's what we're seeing here with Ford being able to catch up.
Look at Blaney. How badly did he need this win, especially after what happened at Gateway? I mean, they clearly are running a lot better, Jerry. When you look at, he's credited with a 24th place finish at Gateway, but the reality is he should have been first, maybe second at worst, and then he's got seventh at Sonoma. Now he wins at Iowa, and obviously the Iowa win was not a fluke. So how badly did he need this win? Not to validate the championship, but just to get back on track.
I think there's two reasons why he needed this win. One, morally, emotionally, for himself, kind of to build himself back up, because good God, how much bad luck can one guy have? I mean, several years ago when Jeff Gordon was racing, Rick Hendrick came into the media center one time and said, "Hey, I don't want to fly with this guy. He's so much bad luck right now." Well, that's kind of how Blaney's luck was running. And to get the win, to go out there and to do it the way that he did it, Larson was the class of the field early on. Larson put himself in a predicament that was caused him to be taken out. But Blaney held up and raced away with it, just like he would have done, obviously, a few weeks ago in St. Louis. So I think this is great, not only for him as a driver from the morale standpoint, but also as we talked about with the championship standpoint, because last year they kind of got into a lull in the summer, and they weren't the boys of summer. They're trying to be the boys of summer this year and bring it up now. There's one other guy at Penske that has to get his act together, and that's Joey Logano, because we haven't seen him do very much in the ways of being up front. He's had a lot of bad luck himself.
Bruce?
Definitely a Team Penske, when you got three drivers like that and Austin Cindric's the first one to get the victory, it's going to put a little bit of pressure on the other two drivers. I think Blaney is a cool enough customer that his success was eventually going to come. I believe the same thing will happen with Joey Logano. The question is, what type of track will it come on? Is it going to come on a big track? Is it going to come on a super speedway, intermediate track? But Team Penske just has so many resources and so much knowledge and manpower that I believe it'll happen soon.
We talked about with Blaney winning the championship last year, Jerry, that now he has the opportunity not only to be a leader in this sport, but to become a major star. He's got a lot of fans out there. He's got a great personality, but he needed to win more often. And now, here we are. It took 17 races into the season before he gets that win. Does he continue? Do we still feel the same way now?
I mean, everybody needs to win and be up front to keep their fan base energized. If not, you get down. You get, it's like, oh man, So and I'm betting you money that's what several drivers are feeling right now, other than Blaney. He's coming off of a high. I think you see Blaney go back to victory lane, rather sooner more than later. And I think this run for his fan base will be good. I mean, you have to want it. You have to always need it in a sense to stay relevant in the sport too. So just because he's a champion doesn't mean it's always going to be good. Joey Logano was a champion and went out the next year and didn't make the playoffs. So you never know what this sport is going to give you.
It was kind of cool that his mother was an Iowan. and he ends up with all those family and friends at that track. He talked about it going to his grandmother's house every Christmas time to win a race at Iowa with that many family and friends. It's almost like Martin Truex Jr. It was like another home track for him.
It was impressive to see they all had their same shirts and everything, and it had their own section. That was pretty cool to see on TV. It was a great optic, but it's also another great reason of here's a grassroots driver named Blaney going back to the Midwest and winning a race. Probably the only other place more fitting would be if there was a race in Ohio, because that's where his father is originally from. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see one of their own win the race at Iowa Speedway. And the only other driver that I think could have probably have matched that in terms of fans would have been Kyle Larson. But Kyle Larson, as Jerry pointed out earlier, pretty much did himself in by getting a little too aggressive there, trying to go 4 wide. It caught him out, but he definitely, at the beginning of the race, was the class of the field.
He's a man of the people. Kyle Larson's from everywhere because he races everywhere.